Good afternoon, and it's a Saturday afternoon, and I wanted it to be a Saturday morning, but I've been doing stuff this morning, chores around the house, which I haven't really enjoyed. But now I'm out the shed, amongst these fine beasts, and today's project is the NC700, which is disgusting. Hasn't been cleaned. I've taken the screen off, so I can lift it up in the air for when I want to do the bottom. But what I'm getting on with is heated grips and a service. So I don't know how the video is going to come out, because it's all going to be, there's going to be some footage is going to be in both videos, probably, like stripping down this, which I'm not very sure of. I think it's just a couple of push-in tabs here and a multitude of screws. I don't know whether you need to get into where the battery is. Well, I'll need to get into where the battery is anyway for the heated grips. Need to take that off to get to the air filter. And I thought while I'm at it I'll do the spark plugs, because obviously I've got access to the top of the motor, not realising the top of the motor is here and the spark plugs are actually here, which seems very odd to me that you wouldn't create the shield to completely cover the HT leads. Just, they're taking a lot of shit there. So having now noticed that, I think I'm going to get a fender extender just to give them a bit more protection, especially with it coming up for winter and all the grime and shit that goes with that. But yes, that's where I'm at, and that's what I'm going to be doing, hopefully successfully. But yeah, I'll get them side panels off, and then I don't know where I'm going from there. Is it down to the lake I fear? Aye. Yeah, I'll get set up and start stripping out bits until I get somewhere with it. I think that's the main way to go. Right, see you in a minute. Right, I think I've got somewhere. Got my torch hanging from above to give it all a bit of a light, and hopefully you can see what's going on. Just pulled one of them out, which you just push the middle in, which pops it, and then you get a screwdriver underneath and pull it out. How you reset it, I don't know. Must push that. Yeah, just pull the legs apart and push that middle bit up, and that'll reset it. Right, there's 4 of them, 2 this side. Right, that's them out. Now I think it's at least them 2 and these 2 screws. I think the 2 screws will release this. Let's undo the 2 screws. Yeah, you can see the hooks there, just pulls back and then comes off. Then I think this whole panel needs to come off, which seems to be something to do with this as well. So Phillips head, Allen head, and a pop-up. Oh, that takes that off, which must sit Who knows? I'll investigate that further once everything's out. Right, that all seems loose. Yeah, definitely getting there. Same again the other side. And then you've got the cable the other side going to the petrol tank. And then we've got you kamikaze in down there. Yeah, so it loosens all that. Doesn't really get it out of the way though. I think it needs to be out of the way. I'll hang that to one side right up to the point it really gets in the way. Oh, if I take these two off, that'll take that up and out the way. So I'll take these two front ones off, that'll take the mechanism out the way. I don't think they actually hold anything else apart from that. No, it's not like they hold anything to do with the airbox. Put the bolts back in so I know where they are. Tuck the cable back in its holder. Right, now I can chuck that out the way. Right, that can hang down there. So airbox. Oh shit! Let's not lose you again. I'll take the tool bag out, and then what have we got? Two Phillips screws, which again don't go to the airbox. What's holding the airbox in? Right, so I can get to the back two screws of the top half of the airbox, which I think will allow me to take the top half off, which I need to do to obviously get to the air filter. Get these screws undone for the airbox and take the top half of that off, hopefully. Right, I think that will give me access to the air filter. Right, got that. There's a plug on the top of it that possibly wants removing. Yeah, before you can lift it. So that's the little sensor connection, and then this just falls out like that. Yeah, fairly disgusting. I don't know what darkness of red the Honda ones start out as. That's a Honda original, and that's a high flow. That's a HFA 1715, to be brutally honest, but definitely a difference in colour. So out with the old, So I'll chuck that back in. That's the one way up. Or was it? Was it? Yeah, there you go. Fits beautifully. Right, I'm just having a quick look because I'm going to be fitting heated grips as to where I'm going to run my wires. So I'll get the lid of the filter back on and then judge where my wires can go. Sort of like that. Don't forget to plug your doorbell back in. With a slight misalignment, there we go. Right, that's that back in, which gives me more idea of where I can run my wires. That'll be in a different video. But essentially that's the air filter done, which does require all of that out the way, even the mechanism for your fuel or frunk, because I don't think you'll get the lift, it'll knock into that. So everything I took off needed to be took off. Right, so all that's left to do is to do up the 6 screws to hold the air filter together. Just do the final pinch by hand. They don't need to be that tight. And just so you can see, these are the screws. You've got one there, one there, one there, one round there, and then you've got 2 in the battery box in there, either side. Those are the 6 you've got to undo to get the top of your filter box off. Right, as I say, rebuild this and then plugs oil and filter. So first I'll stick the battery cover back on. Okay, that's that back together. Now to rebuild this. And I did take off this cable in the end because it was starting to be a pain in the ass, which is the rear seat. So ferrule, nipple, whatever you want to call it, back in there, and then that clips in there like that. Then that runs that way. But first of all I want to put this back on. Like that. And this flops in here, something like they go over the top or underneath or through the middle, or didn't really pay attention to this. Oh dear. Oh, look at that, it just flops on like that. Oh, I see. It covers that one. And that one, right, that's that on. I think it's like that, and the cable that goes through to the rear seat, petrol tank, whatever, runs through there and down here. Might have just made that up as well. And this is, there you go. So you've got the extra clip bit this side. The screw goes through there. Okay, I pulled the centre bit out of that clip. As I say, not as easy as the Suzuki ones. That goes in there, and then the little Allen bolt goes in there, and the big one goes in there, like that. And that's that panel almost in. Want the two for there. So we've got two back in there. Like that. This panel's not so, I'm going to regret saying this, not so difficult, I don't think. But now I've bolted it down, I've definitely done that wrong. Yeah, it sort of loop, cable comes round like that, so it goes from the key round and then to here. Yeah, I definitely shouldn't have bolted that down first. Got too excited. What's next? Side panels. Am I being a donut? I'm being a donut, aren't I? Definite donut-ish behaviour. Like that. Got the technique on these now. You just pull up either side as if to prove me wrong. Come on, you git. Yeah, just pull up the wing either side and it comes free. Comes free with every Honda. Should just check this front once more. Whew! That'd have been a proper fail if that didn't actually open, wouldn't it? Okay, so there's a lot more fiddly than your normal air filters. A lot more involved Usually you're just lifting a tank. I think on the Suzuki's lift the tank and 10 screws and you're into the air filter. There's a lot more bits of plastic and everything. Probably overall there's, oh no, there's 6 on the airbox, isn't there? But yeah, a bit involved for doing an airbox, but it's done. Everything's back together. So now, bottom end, I'll run it for a little while, get the oil warmed up a bit, and then I'll bring you back when I'm... Or should I do the plugs first? I'll do the plugs first. Yeah, then I'll warm it up. Okay, plugs next. Okay, right, spark plugs. Need the bottom cowl off. Like that. 2 Allen bolts and then 4 little press-in points. And then that is your HT lead. There. Which, as I've said, is seems a very strange place. Yeah, which is a very strange place. To put spark plugs. Iridium's coming out. Have I got the right ones? IFR 6G. They seem to have burnt alright. Probably good for another 1,000,000 miles. And the hat stays on. On my Suzuki's the hat comes off. I knew you'd be interested. Again, looks good. Threads are a bit rusty, but then when all the shit is being thrown straight at you, something's going to get through. And so I think I'll be looking at getting a fender extender. I mean, look, the spray's coming straight off there at the right height just to go onto your spark plugs. The HT leads show a little bit of detritus. Right, that's bedded, and a little, tiniest of little pinches. That does it. Does it for me anyway. That's better. Good positive clunk. That is the spark plugs done. So next I need to run it, get a bit of temperature into it. I'm glad I did a plug before I did that. They're ever so close to the exhaust. Yeah, I'll run it up, get a bit of temperature into it, and I'll bring you back when I pull the sump plug off. Okay, start it up. Good test for the new spark plugs. I'll warm that up a bit, as I said, and then I'll do the oil and filter. That's the bike warmed up. I've got to be careful because that exhaust is a bit scorchy now. Right, I've got 12mm sump plug to undo. So this is the lowest point of the engine with a bolt in it. So I'm going to say that's the killie. Yeah. Want that out of the way. Oh. Oh. Right. This is destined to go all over me. And that is very clean oil. But with the condition of the bike, I just didn't believe that it was up to date on its servicing. So as with the plugs looked okay. The filter was definitely crap. So it looks like someone's done the easy stuff, which is obviously the oil filter and spark plugs, because it's all this area, all easy accessible. Whereas the filter, as you saw, and if you've got your own bike you'll find out, is a bit more involved with taking all the plastics and everything off. So yeah, perhaps that's why the rest of it looks fairly fresh, apart from the filter. Anyway, I'll let that drain right down, and then I think if I go there I should catch the filter as well, the oil out the filter I should say. Right, filter spanner. Right, got the strap. I've got other filter devices, but with the header tank just there, I thought this would be the better option. Oh, I just dropped that in there. I did that on purpose, and yeah, that's a fine old mess. Right, I'll let them points drain out. Probably a little bit of the oil's going to stay in there. I've got it up on the centre stand, and obviously that tilts the bike forward. Where am I going? Forward slightly. So we might have some residue in here, but looking at the state of that, it didn't really need doing anyway, which is always good. So I'll let that finish draining completely, or as much as it's going to, and then stick another filter on it. Right, I think that's had long enough. I don't know how long it has had. I've been doing a bit of tidying up in the shed, which was muchos necessary. And what's going back on? Honda genuine parts. There's a 4M21A, apparently, made in China. Yeah, there you go. Bit of oil on the gasket, stops it binding up while you're doing it up. Gorgeous. I don't think I'm going to get a prop. This is where probably I should have taken the header tank out of the way. I don't get a grip on that properly. I think that will be tight enough. So, sump plug, non-magnetic. Yeah, definitely non-magnetic. Going to use the same seal. Looks like a pretty rugged bit of aluminium as a seal. So that should seal again, like it did last summer. Ridiculous. That in there, we want that and a spanner. Pinch. What's that? Water. Right, so that's pinched up. Filter's pinched up. Yeah, filter's pinched up. So, top it up with some oil. So it wants 3.4 litres apparently, and this is Castrol Power 1. There you go. Oh, arm's in the way. Castrol Power 1 10W40 power release technology, which is exactly what you need on an NC700, because whatever power it's got, you need all of it. So I'll decant a few litres of this stuff and throw it in the engine, and then I'll bring you back when it blows up, because I've put the wrong stuff in it, or the wrong amount. But according to the book, it's 3.4 litres with an oil and oil filter change. Might be different for the DCT versions, might not, I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to decant, careful how you say that, and fry it in the engine. Okay, I think I'll run that up. Although you haven't seen it, it's had about 3.25 litres. It's not an exact science. Right, let's see if it's okay. Oil pressure light's gone out, always a good sign. And no immediate drips of oil, so another good sign. Right, I'll let that run for a little bit, get it circulated through that new filter, switch it off, let it settle, take it off its centre stand and check the level. So I took the bike outside, and by a torchlight, I checked the oil on a flat part of my decking, because the old shed sort of slopes away, and checked it like the book says to check it, which is on its wheels. Oh, dropped the washer, that's no good. Yeah, on its wheels, and then stand it up. Stand it up on its wheels. Stand it straight up on its wheels. There you go. And did that, and it needed about another 500 to 600 mil. So, as you saw, I decant the oil from a tub. And I don't think, there's the washer, I don't think I put a full litre in each time. I had the same sort of top up with my Corona 600 when I did the oil change the other day, so I was half expecting it to be short by a long day. But yes, all checked out. I don't particularly like the idea of a dipstick as opposed to a sight glass. It's quite clear with a sight glass, you can quite clearly see it with your sight through the glass. So, but then, being this is half a Jazz engine, it's probably got a half-sized dipstick to check the oil. I'm not saying I'm short, but I'd probably qualify it as a half-sized dipstick. See, as if to prove it. But yes, that's the service done, and it doesn't look like it was necessary, to be honest, but nice for the peace of mind to get it done. So there we go, all back together, looking glorious. The donkey of the fleet, the workhorse of the fleet, all done. Oil filter, spark plugs and air filter, and out of all that probably only the air filter needed to do, although the oil filter had lost all its markings, which sort of suggests it had been sat out at the front of the bike there in all weathers for quite a while. So anyway, it's all done now. Next service, I think they're 8,000 miles on these, which is very nice, being that I've got some gorgeous Suzukis, but they're every 3,500 miles, and usually I do it a little bit earlier than that because they are punished a little bit harder than the donkey. But having said that, I'm quite proud of my fleet. It's taken me a lot of years to get a fleet, and I've gone from old bikes to buying brand new bikes, going back to old bikes, because I just don't like all them electronics. I just want to ride the bike. I don't need to know which level of traction control I need, or which level of suspension I need, or what rider mode I need to go around a bend. I just need to know, give it some, lean it over. If you get round, you're an absolute fucking star, and if you don't, you're a fool for trying. But you've got to put the effort in somewhere, haven't you? Anyway, NC700 serviced, done, sorted.